This clip is going to focus on some of the Google tools. So when you log into your Google account, what you'll see by default is your mail. But there's an awful lot more to Google than just email. And among the tools that you'll be using are calendar, document sites, perhaps at some stage in your career. Initially, the ones that will be most obvious and most useful are Google Documents and Google Calendar. And this clip is going to focus on one of the features of Google Documents. So I'm here up in the top left hand corner above the GAA logo, choosing Documents. And from Documents, I'm going to select an option for a forum. So often in life, we fill in forums, we fill in surveys, we fill in paper-based surveys, or we collect information in various ways. But electronically, data can now be collected very easily. And when you have a GAA email account, you can use these features called forums. So forums, electronic forums, are very similar to manual forums, except that manual forums, we fill in the data, we bundle up the forums, and then someone has to transcribe the results to some other document, be it a spreadsheet or a Word document, etc. Here we're going to do it all in one move. That's one of the really useful features of the Google Forms facility. So we're just imagine we're going to do a little survey about GAA or players and their activities. So we'll just call it member survey. And it's going to be deliberately kept very short because I want this little clip not to take too long. So it's going to be member survey, and we'll just say please answer the questions. Something like maybe it'll take less than 1 minute to complete. Survey, and make sure to submit when finished. So the submit button has to be pressed when the exercise is completed. So there's the survey. So we'll call it a member survey, whether it's GAA or Camogie or hurling or whatever. And Google throws you up a default question. So sample question 1 here, and you edit sample question 1 in order to put in your own question. So your sample question 1 might be give your name. So you might just in the help text have something like forename followed by surname. And the question type is one of the features you have to keep an eye on here. This one will be text, but the other choices that are there are multiple choice, checkboxes, and a list, and a scale and a grid. Now this clip is only going to illustrate 1 or 2 of those, but it'll be enough to give you a flavor of what's to be done. So this we want text, where the person will be able to type in the information as opposed to ticking a box or to choosing from a list. So this is we'll make this a mandatory question. In other words, one they can't leave blank. So when you have the question finished, you press the done button. Okay, and then under sample question 2, which we have to go over here to the edit button to activate it so we can work on it, we might say give your province. So it's going to be a choice from a list this time. It's going to be, you have to pick just one of a number of choices. So there's going to be, we're going to choose from a list. So choose from a list. So we have Leinster. And if you just tab out of the column you're on, say I'm on Munster, to tab brings you the next one for Connacht. So that's that question done. But we can also make that a required question. So the other important thing to do frequently during designing a survey, given that you're using a website to build this on, you're using Google, it's not on your PC, is save every so often. So in case the connection with the internet breaks, it's important to save forums as you go along and as you're designing them. And we're going to add a third question. So there's 2 questions here by default, as you noticed. And to add a third or fourth or subsequent question, we can just go to the add item option up here at the top. And we're going to put in checkboxes, because we're going to ask you to list the games you play. So it's going to be, what games do you play? So to keep it short, I'm not going to list all the Gaelic games options, and I'm going to make it a checkbox. In other words, it's going to be one where you can tick more than one box. So you might say something like, please tick all that apply, or all that are relevant to your particular background. So option 1 here, let's say, is ladies football. Option 2 is camogie. And option 3, we would say, is handball. That's enough. So again, we'll save the forum. Could be a required question if you want it to be. I'll just leave it open-ended, and we'll say save again. So here we have our forum now designed. This is our survey completed in terms of the design of it. So 3 questions in it: the name, the province, and the games you play. So you can move them around. I'm just dragging the question about the province below the one on the game you play. So just grab a hold of it and drag it down below it. So I'll just drag it back up again here. Question about the province, put it up under your name. So there it is. When the broken line appears, you can just move it around the place. So that's the province, the 3 questions, and we'll save the survey again. Of course, you could maybe save the survey and go back and add more questions to it later on. But in this case here, I haven't got time to do that. So I'm just going to kind of show you how the process is completed. So before we send the forum out to some users to complete it, it's nice to put in the edit confirmation details. In other words, I just want to say thanks for filling in the survey. And your response has been recorded. In our case, the response is going to be recorded in a centralized spreadsheet. That's one of the huge benefits of using Google Forms. So the person might want to see a summary and so on, but we'll skip those things in a minute. So then you save the forum. So the forum is now ready for circulating. In other words, it's now ready for posting out to potential people to fill it in. And the way you do that in Google Forms is you just email the forum. So here in my case, I have various contacts I might email it to. One that I'm going to email to is my own work account. So I'm going to fill it in the work account in a moment. I'll also email it to a second account. And the box here to include the forum with the email is an important one to make sure it's ticked. I'm going to send out the email. And then I'm going to switch to a different account. And show you how the forum looks when the user receives it. So here I am, just pressing the refresh option to see the forum arrived. Here it is. So I'll open up the email. When I open up the email, I'll see the actual boxes that you saw on the screen a moment ago that you fill in, looking for your name, the games you play, and the province that you're based in. So it's just sort of vanished here, so I'm just going to get it back. Okay, here's the forum about to reappear again. I'd have to click this button up here to make sure all the cells or all the fields can be seen properly. So there it is now visible. So please answer the questions. Takes a minute to complete. So my forename, surname, I'll just put in NT. My province we'll say is Connacht just to change it. And the game I play in this list is handball. And if I scroll down a little bit further, I can submit. So that's how a Google form looks from the user's perspective, the recipient's perspective. So the recipient fills in the questions or fills in the responses, hits the submit button and now gets the feedback. So you might add your name to that as well at the bottom. Say my name might appear there just to personalize a small thing a little bit. So that's the questions filled in. So several other users might have got the same form in an email, and they've filled in their responses as well. So when you go back to my GAA email account, I click under documents, okay, to see where the responses have been gathered. Okay, so the responses have been gathered in a centralized spreadsheet. So if 10 people have filled in that survey, when I open this spreadsheet, okay, so it's under, it mightn't be instantly visible. So just make sure you I'm the creator of the spreadsheet, this noeltierney.itc account. So when I hit on the documents owned by me, this member survey will appear as one of my options here. So when I double click on the member survey, what I will see is hopefully a spreadsheet, and the first row of it has been filled in, and there you see my details. So if 10 more people had filled it in, their responses would appear in the rows below. So that's an example of how to build a forum, how to circulate it to some users, and then how to look at the responses that the users give when they submit them. So it's a very effective way of collecting a lot of data from a large number of people very quickly and very efficiently. And that's what makes Google Forms one of the most frequently used features of the GAA email account technology. So that's the end of this clip, and I hope you benefited from it.